In the last month, I've spent about 15 nights in a tent just like this. And as I've done so, I thought about 4 of the things that I do every single night that help me get a better night's sleep. So today, I'm sharing with you my 4 sleep hacks for getting a better night's sleep in the backcountry, and they shouldn't cost you anything. For a lot of you, spending 15 nights in a tent might sound like a terrible idea. But for me, this is my second home right here, and I crawl into this thing like I'm just coming home. And I know that you guys can feel that way if you can start sleeping better in the backcountry. So let's dive into all of these tips. Number 1 is perhaps the most critical. Most people blow up their sleeping pads way too hard, and then they sleep on them and they're like a rock. But to let air out of them can be a little bit intimidating because you don't want to let too much air out of it. So what I do is when I first get to camp, I blow up my pad, let some of that fabric stretch out a little bit, and then I do this to check the pressure. So all I'm going to do is sit up like this. I'm going to pull my feet up off the pad. I'm going to pull my elbow up off the pad. And if my butt can hit the ground on this angle right here, I know that I've let enough air out of my pad. Any harder than that, if my butt isn't hitting the ground, I know this pad is going to be too hard for me to sleep well on. But this right here dials in that comfort perfectly so that my shoulder can sink into the pad a little bit too, but I'm not hitting the ground anywhere else with my body. All right, so this is hack number 2, and I told you it should be free because all you're going to do is you're going to pack a few extra items of clothing. You're going to pack an extra pair of socks, and you're going to pack an extra pair of underwear, or in my case, these are thermals that I wear as underwear when I sleep. You see, when you get hiking out there, it's very, very easy, and it's pretty much guaranteed, even in trail runners, that your socks are going to get a little bit damp. Maybe your underwear is going to get a little bit damp. And the quickest way that you can get warm is by putting on a dry base layer. It adds so much warmth so fast. So instead of kind of getting in your bag and waiting for an hour or so for your feet to warm up, put on a dry pair of socks and you'll be able to fall asleep faster, warmer, and more comfortable. All right, so hack number 3 is to use I'm not going to explain that one. That one's a bonus tip if you get my meaning. Hack number 3 is to wear a balaclava or a hood. And the reason why I do that, even in the summer months when it's warmer and you don't really need something this big and robust, is for 2 reasons. Number 1, you look amazing. No. But for real, I wear this because of 2 reasons. Number 1 is this insulation on the side of my ears does dampen the noise. So if someone's rolling over in a tent next to me or the wind's blowing or something like that, it's going to lessen what I'm hearing inside of here. But perhaps the bigger reason is this right here. I can cinch this down as much as you want, something maybe in here. Sometimes I'll tuck it under my chin, but you'll notice my eyes. See how my eyes are getting tucked in here? I use this like a sleep mask. And so when I do this, it both insulates hearing and sight, and it's almost like my own little, what do you call that, sense deprivation chamber inside of here. It's amazing, and it does provide warmth, and you lose a ton of warmth out of your head. So I love sleeping in this, even though I don't always need it, like according to the weather, how cold it's getting. I still like to bring it because I sleep so good in it. All right, hack number 4, since I've already given you my bonus tip, is something that I see people do wrong all the time, and I don't understand it. You see, every night when you go to bed, you have some extra gear laying around, and you can put that extra gear to use, and here's how. Right now, I'm laying on what I would consider a very flat tent camp spot. But even as I sit here right now, I want to roll back this way because this is not totally level. So every night before I go to bed, I grab my extra clothing and I tuck it under the edge of my pad to completely level my pad. Sometimes my feet are too low. Sometimes the pad is rolling to the side. All you have to do is grab some of your down pieces, like this down jacket right here. I'm just gonna fold it in a way that makes it kind of long, and I'm going to tuck it under this edge of my pad. I don't want it to be too much or too little, but all you gotta do is something like that, and with down, it does such a good job at compressing that now I'm totally level and I'm not slowly rolling off the side of my pad. That slow roll off the side of the pad will keep you awake. It'll make it so that when you roll on one side, you'll feel like you're tipping over this way, and when you roll on the other, you might be comfortable. But that takes away half of your sleep positions if you're me and you're a side sleeper. So hack number 4 is critical. Just take some of the extra gear that you have laying around your tent and level your pad, because there's no such thing as a perfectly level tent campsite in the backcountry, or almost no such thing. All right, there you have it. Those are my 4 favorite sleep hacks to have consistently good night's sleep in the backcountry, and they shouldn't cost you a thing, assuming you still have your bank robbing mask from back in the day. But as long as you have that and you've got some extra pairs of socks, these things are all free and they're easily doable, and it just creates a system for you to have a good night's sleep every single night. Down in the comments, I want to hear what your guys' favorite sleep hack is, and with that, we'll see you guys out on the trail.